Oh, wow. So the caption reads, what does the caption read? Dad cuts son's locks because he bullied a kid at school. So let's talk about it. How do you teach your children about respect?
You're listening to Fathers Handling Business, where fatherhood meets real talk and real solutions. Here are your hosts, Donté Witherspoon and Dwyan Marsh, ready to dive deep into the art and science of parenting. Let's get started and empower the dad in you.
Respect.
Respect it or check it.
Man, respect is a huge thing. It's something that you're taught as a young child or not taught.
True.
Right? I know a lot of kids that lack respect. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that is usually already, as a parent, instilled in us. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, then we learn along the way, right?
Okay.
And so as we have children, it is our job to make sure that we instill some type of level of respect, depending on, who you are, how you were raised. I know that there's a lot of people in the South that have the utmost respect.
True.
As opposed to people, let's say, in California.
California, they have no respect.
You know what I'm saying?
Welcome y'all to Fathers Handling Business. I am Callie. We're going to talk about that later. And
I'm Donté.
Donté Witherspoon with us here today. And today we're talking about, the question is, how do you address disrespectful behavior in your household? Now, we just heard and a lot of people probably saw this on social media. I know I saw it on social media. You sent it to me.
Yep.
I had already seen it by the time you saw it, but it's been making its rounds. Basically, what we saw was a child in a barber chair getting his locks. Now, his locks were probably longer than yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I have locks.
You have locks like you have the nice shoulder length locks. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like his was about that shoulder length, and he was getting it cut off, and he was screaming and hollering. He had the little blind tips on it, so he feeling himself.
He was styling and profiling.
He was styling. They mad because I'm styling. You just mad because I'm styling. So it seems as if he was very connected to those locks and getting them taken off. He looked about, 12?
Maybe, or maybe a little bit younger.
Maybe a little bit younger, maybe like 10, 12, in that range. Like, he couldn't have been no older than 12 or 13. Couldn't have been. Yeah. So he was anywhere from maybe 8 to 12.
I would say 8 to... I think if he was 12, he probably would have got up out the chair himself, but...
Ain't no way.
Yo, for real.
Ain't no way.
12-year-olds are strong, man.
It's not about being strong, though, but if I'm sitting there, I don't care how big. My kid was bigger than me at 12. If I sat him down, he not getting up because of the respect that he has for me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Not because of how strong he is.
Right. And that's what we're talking about, respect.
That's what we're talking about. So the question
is... Because I know a lot of kids that will get up out the chair and be like, I'm not doing it, Dad.
Oh, well, that's disrespect, right? So how do you address disrespectful behavior in your house? So this parent was actually addressing disrespectful behavior outside of the house, right? But, first of all, I just want to applaud the dad right there because, it took something extreme. First of all, hair will grow back. He didn't hurt the child. You know what I'm saying? Right. The child will remember that forever.
He might be traumatized for that.
Of course. He should be traumatized. Like, I am not against trauma because trauma makes us who we are. Trauma builds character. We can't live in this life. Nobody lives in this life without trauma. Now, obviously, we don't want to, hurt our children on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm not a trauma averse person or parent where I'm like, I don't want to do anything so that they don't have no trauma. Like, I tried that, my kids still got trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but I think it depends. So I disagree with that because it depends on where the trauma comes from. There's trauma that happens by accident, and then there's trauma induced by someone. And if it's someone that we like trust, and love, and we expect them to keep us safe in a sense, then that's stuff that sticks with them forever.
Yeah, for sure. And it should, like, this is a lesson that should stick with him forever, though. Like, let's go back to why this happened. Like, he wasn't beating the kid. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't break his arm. He didn't, you know what I'm saying, do something where he's physically whatever. But, you know, he took something that was meaningful, because it's no different from punishment, you know, getting your privileges taken away. Took something that was very meaningful to this kid, because he did something very disrespectful to another kid. And the lesson in that is, you know, don't, before you talk, you know what I'm saying, before you act, you know, think about before you act, you know, and he's going to think about it before. When he goes back to school, he sees that, and everybody sees him with the bald head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure you're not going to get clowned for that, because, you know.
I don't know, though. Here's the thing.
Maybe you will.
Kids are mean. Kids are mean. Kids are real mean.
And, I mean, it's all over the internet. Now, the one thing that I probably wouldn't have done, I probably wouldn't have filmed it and put it on the internet. I would have filmed it, but I wouldn't have put it on the internet.
I definitely wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I probably would have done the same thing, but I wouldn't have, like, filmed it. Now, all his friends are going to see him screaming, and like, now that's traumatizing. Yeah. Now that's overboard.
Well, here's the thing, and I've read some of the comments too.
Let's read them.
Yeah, and here's one thing that I'm just like, you know what? Like, as a father, and I don't know if he did this. I don't know that we don't know these people, but I know that I tell my son, because he has locks too. So it's like, yo, there's power in our hair, and culturally speaking, like, we don't know what he told his kid. And if he, like, told his kid that, and now he's taken away his power, like, that right there is, it's like, Dad, like, you're stripping me of something. It's like, if he had video games that he loved, and you took that away, like, I'm okay with that. I got basketball taken away, and that was, like, stripping away, like, everything. Like, right. Like, and so, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think the principle is the same, though. I think the principle is the same. I hear what you're saying about there's power in the hair, but I mean, we're not Samson, so the hair's gonna grow back. He'll be fine. he's 8 years old or whatever. You know, his hair will grow back in 2-3 years, and he'll be fine. But he will definitely remember that experience. As I said, though, I think the overboard part was putting it on the internet, so now everybody can see it, you know, and his friends can see him screaming and all that kind of stuff. I think that I probably wouldn't have gone that far, but the actual act of doing it and teaching his son a lesson, you know.
Let's read some of the comments.
All right, let's read some of the comments.
All right, so there's one that says the punishment isn't extreme, the reaction is extreme.
Correct.
Okay. Dad did the right thing. Let's see. This is the kind of punishment a child like this requires in order to actually learn something.
True.
Okay.
True.
This one says, sorry, but I agree with Dad. Sometimes kids need some tough love, and hair grows back, especially when you don't have cancer. Oh, okay. It's literally what you just
extreme. It's a little extreme, but okay, yeah, that's true.
Okay, and these are all right, so one thing's for sure. This son will think twice before bullying or being unkind to anyone. Again, this lesson will stay with him for life, shaping how he treats others. And I guarantee this dad won't get another call about his son being disrespectful or bullying anyone throughout this school year. Tough love today, better man tomorrow.
Because I think, you know, as you said, you got basketball taken away from you, right? Because that was something that you really, really loved. You know what I'm saying? And his hair might have been something that he really, really loved. Like my mom, I think I told you this before, but my mom threw away all my clothes that I bought with my money.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me? But it was because I was feeling myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a little jobby job, you know what I'm saying? I waited in line for some Jordans, you know what I'm saying? This was when bubble coats was popping. I had the Nautica bubble fleece, you know what I'm saying? Like, the bubble coat, like, I was feeling myself. And, like, she saw that in me, that I was idolizing my look.
Right.
You feel me? And so she was like, nah. And she threw them joints away. And it hurt. I remember it to this day. Like, I'm talking about it 30 years later.
Yeah.
Like, that was traumatizing for me. Like, I remember it. But I remember the lesson, like, why she did it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, when it first got done, I wasn't, feeling it. But, like, I remember the lesson. And I remember that, like, look, I can't put things over God and over how I'm supposed to be as a human. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. Like, even to this day, it's the lesson stuck with me. So,
here's some things that are against it.
Okay.
It said he would just bully and abuse his children just like his father did to him, and his grandpa did to his dad. So, I mean, we don't know that. We don't know that happened. We just know that this was a choice that the father made. Another person said, or he may blame the kid with cancer for this happening and act worse. Or other kids will bully him after they see the video of him screaming, crying, and freaking out.
Wait, so why? Okay, so we heard cancer twice. So was he bullying a kid that had cancer?
I think so.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
That's even worse then.
It is worse.
Now I'm doubly on the father's side, because you bullying a kid that can't like something that he can't control.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was just bullying a regular kid like in school, but you bullying a kid with cancer, yeah, you gotta, like, extreme things have to have extreme consequences.
Yeah.
That's just, like, that's something I've always taught my kids. Like, yo, whatever you do, good or bad, it's gonna have consequences. And the more extreme good, the more extreme good consequences. And the opposite is true.
This don't have nothing to do about nothing, but somebody said he's screaming like them dreads gave him strength of Samson.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's not Samson. He just...
If that's the only punishment he got, he doesn't know how lucky he is. I mean, compared to some punishment that some of us, I mean, at least me, I
don't think you understand what I'm saying, bro. Like, I got all my gear. All my gear was in the dumpster.
Man, a lot of people agreeing with the dad. I'm looking at the emotional side of this.
I know. As a therapist, you're looking at the emotional side, but you gotta like I said, like, we are emotional and physical beings, and so we have to, like, think about the kid that got bullied. Think about his emotional side and his emotional state. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only does he have to go through, the physical ailment of cancer, but he has to deal with it at a young age, right?
Yeah.
And now he's getting bullied by the cool kid, you know what I'm saying, with the blonde dreads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the embarrassment part is, like, I think that's it's on a fine line of, like, some people say it's on the line, teetering on the line of abuse, and it all depends on all depends on.
So let me
what
ask
it
you,
is.
in your practice, have you had people come in there with their main problem be embarrassment?
No. Honestly, like, to be quite honest, like, a lot of times parents struggle with knowing how to clearly communicate what they want from their kids.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Right. But I'm saying, like, if somebody, y'all peel back the layers and you found out, like, oh, I got embarrassed in 8th grade and that's why my life is spiraling.
No.
Like, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, embarrassment it hurts your ego for sure.
Well, yeah,
like, his ego is going to be hurt. He got to walk around without the dreads for a little bit.
It definitely leaves a mark for a lot of people for a lifetime.
And it should. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the point.
But
like,
but not everybody knows how to get over it. That's the thing.
Oh, well, now that goes to the parenting afterwards, right? Like, he has to understand, like, okay, what have I done? And that, like you said, you can't control that, because him as a person, he has to deal with that within himself, right? But I always say that, man, that don't kill you makes you stronger. So as you grow as a human and mature, like, okay, all right, I was tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can, we can objectively say that there was nothing there that, would turn him into a supervillain. And if it is, then he's already emotionally not stable.
Yeah. And to what you said, like, it absolutely stems from the parenting before and after. Before the haircut, you cut the dreads off, and after you cut the dreads off. Because I know you've shared that your kids have come to you later on in life and said, thank you for this, that, and the third.
Right.
Like they definitely weren't thanking you in the moment.
No, they weren't. They weren't. But and I'm talking years later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking years later. They come back and say, oh man, okay, I get it now. I realize it now. And that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I can't. I can only give the lesson, but it's on me. It's on them to take the lesson, internalize it, and learn from it.
Right.
And that's the same way with God. Like, we are free will beings. We aren't robots.
1,000%.
So God is going to allow certain things to happen in our lives, right? And it's on us to internalize it, learn the lesson, and move on. Or that same lesson, we're gonna keep doing it over and over.
We're gonna keep learning.
We're gonna keep taking that test over and over until we pass it, right? And so, that's why I say good on the father. You know what I'm saying? Because there are consequences for your acts. And, that's the same way God treats us. He allows things to happen. Like that's a perfect example in my purview. I like it because the father wasn't the one that cut the locks. The father allowed it to happen.
Man, that's true.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we always be like, oh, why did God do this? And why did God do that? God didn't do nothing.
He allowed it.
He just allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
He allowed the barber to cut the locks. In your life, whatever that means for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
He stood there and I tried to tell you, it didn't have to come to this, but go ahead, devil. Do what you're gonna do. And now how is he going to react afterwards, right? Like how is he gonna react? Like now when he goes back to school, is he gonna bully that same cancer patient?
Right. Some people might say, well, what if you didn't do anything and God allows, this traumatic event to happen in our lives for whatever, like the people who lost their homes in the fire that's going on right now. It's like a lot of people are probably wondering, like, well, like we didn't do anything. Like, why is this happening to us?
Well, first of all, to that I would say they're lying because everybody's done something. There's no good. Nobody is good, but the son.
Right.
Right. So first of all, nobody is without sin.
Right. I'm saying,
but second of all, I know what you mean. Like, there wasn't like something that they directly did for that. Okay, so we can look at Job then. You know what I'm saying? We can look at the whole story of Job, right? And it's still all about, what are you going to do after the fact?
Yeah.
Right? Whatever God allows is part of a bigger plan that we have no idea. You know what I'm saying?
We don't.
We have no idea. Just like as you're a father, there's certain stuff, and I know I've done this to where I didn't tell my kids the whole plan, right? And they're looking at me like, yo, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Blah, blah, blah. And then they understand it later, like, oh, I get it now. Right? I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, some stuff they won't get until they have kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Until they have the same responsibilities. Like, it's like, think about how much responsibility you have as a black parent in a predominantly white community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's certain stuff you just can't tell your kids right now because they won't get it. They don't understand, right? And so there's certain moves that you make. There's certain places you don't go at certain times. There's all this kind of stuff that you already internalized and have in your head, but you don't always verbalize it to your kids because they don't. First of all, you don't want to worry them. It's not for them to know. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you are doing these things and driving these certain places and doing these certain things because you know.
Yeah. It's wild. My son made the basketball team at his school.
Congratulations. Congratulations, DJ number 2.
And he he got suspended from the team already before the first game.
Dang.
Yeah. And so what he did was there was a fight at school, and he was seen in a video recording one of the many kids recording the fight.
Okay.
And I've told him, I'm like, don't trouble yourself with like watching these fights, being around these fights. I'm like, number one, like you just said, being one of the few black kids at a predominantly white school, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And you got locks. Like, yo, like
True.
everybody could look at the video for 1 second, like, oh, yep, that's Donté.
True.
That's DJ right there. And so I was just like, just don't be around it.
Right.
And so they went hard on him. Like, he couldn't practice. He can't practice until for like 3 weeks or something. Can't play in the first few games.
Now, what about the other kids?
The other kid, I mean, I guess there was some type of repercussions. I don't know what it was, but because he's a part of the basketball team, he got it the worst.
Oh, okay.
For not being involved in the fight, for not antagonizing, or
for not throwing one punch.
Yeah,
he got suspended for 3 weeks for not throwing one punch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just for being there.
Right. Now, for him,
he caught a stray bullet, so to speak.
For sure. Now, for him, you had already had a conversation with him about not being around fights.
Yeah.
And then he was there around a fight, filming it.
Yeah.
Right. So now, what's the lesson? Like, did he learn his lesson? Do you know? Do you think? What do you feel?
Like only time. I feel like only time will tell. Because
was he distraught about not being able to play, or
no?
Because that's not even his number one sport, right?
So that's why I'm just like, for me, if that happened to me, my world would be over.
But basketball is your number one sport.
Yeah, like I would be like depressed. I wouldn't want to go to school. Like I would just be done.
Right.
But for him, I think like the biggest thing for him is like he would have to like take his cell phone away for like 3 months. I'm for that, but unfortunately, his mom is not. So,
hey man, I do what I did. Get him a text only phone.
Yeah.
I told my homeboy that he got his son a text only phone like a couple weeks ago. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's just a flip. All you can do is text on. You can't play no games on it. Can't do nothing but like. I know where you are. That's what I can call you.
Yeah, that's what we should have started with, but there was no conversation. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah, that's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different topic. But so, you don't know. You don't feel like that was like a big thing for him.
I personally don't know.
Yeah, of course, because it wasn't anything that he was attached to.
Yeah, the school might think so, but I know.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's black. He loves basketball.
Yeah.
We'll take that away.
Yeah.
So he probably was like, okay, whatever, guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like you said, time will tell. But consistent discipline, it will also explain why respect matters in relationships and society.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency is everything.
Consistency is everything.
Like literally in everything that we do. Like when it comes to working, when it comes to sports, when it comes to, like you said, discipline, like especially discipline, if you're not consistent, and this is reigns true across the board for any type of religion, anything, like you have to be consistent because then and only then will our kids know that we're serious about something.
Right. So how do you teach respect? Can you teach respect?
Oh yeah.
How do you teach respect?
A lot of it is modeled, but then a lot of it is taught verbally. What are the things that you can say other than respect your elders or treat her with respect? Yeah, it all depends on who you are as a family unit or as a parent. Because, like I said,
how do you teach your kids how to respect?
Man, it started very, very young, and it depends on it all depends on what it is. So, like being respectful looks different in different environments. So like, let's say we went to a friend's house. I taught my kids, make sure you say hello to everyone when you walk through the door.
Okay.
You know, there are certain things that I made sure I taught them, about when we're at the dinner table, or when, for my son specifically, it's about, I taught him by showing him first, but then also teaching him, like, it's always, make sure you always open the door for your mom. And so, and even when he and his mom split, and like she would drop them off or whatever, I would still open up her door to her car and all that stuff. So I was still showing him through my actions. And then I would make sure that he would do that for his sister, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, there's that, but then there's like how you speak to adults, and how you speak, and not even just adults, how we speak to each other.
Right.
So, and that's a big thing, especially right now in our house, because him and his sister, they go at it like all the time, and they just like and like I said, kids are mean. Like they're the meanest to each other. Especially my daughter, she cutthroat. She like cold blooded. And so she be saying some hurtful stuff. I'm like, yo, like you cannot say that. Like, and I don't just say you can't say that. I explain why she shouldn't say that, and how our words have power, and how our words can really cut deep and really like break someone down. And so, and I'm like, this is your brother, this is blood, your family, like, and we literally just had this conversation like a couple weeks ago, because it was getting real bad. They're 3 years apart. They like, it's so crazy, because like 1 minute they like trying to kill each other, the next minute like they're all lovey dovey.
That's siblings.
So just like respecting each other verbally, respecting each other physically, respecting people's space, respecting their teachers, making sure that like talking back and all that stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of things.
And it's very California, and I can only speak to California, and I'm sure it's like that in other progressive cities, right? Because so my two youngest kids were out here with me in California, right?
Right.
My oldest son, the majority of his raising was in Florida.
Okay.
So, like you were talking about the South, like he's totally different when it comes to the respect of.
Was he like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am?
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Very, very respectful. But that's just how he was raised in the South, right? As opposed to our California, like, because they don't see that as much as, we try to, and I try to instill that respect into them. Like, I call them sir. I'm like, sir, what are you doing? Sir. And I did that from a very young age. And now they do it kind of like facetiously, you know what I'm saying? They say it, because they don't even call their teachers Miss whatever. They just say,
Becky? What?
Yeah.
So they call them by their first name?
Yeah.
For
but
real?
everybody does that. Like, they don't do it anymore, but they used to, like, that's how the kids talk to their teachers. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they're this or they're that, or,
No, they still have to say Mr. and Mrs. or Miss.
Yeah. And, like the other parents, they're just like, oh, that's Kate, or that's, wow. There's no Miss to it. There's no Mr. What, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we still do the Mr. and Mrs. And
right.
this.
But what I'm saying is, like, their peer group is not required to do that.
Man.
So it's harder, right? Because in Florida, everybody's like that. Even the kids, they might be out there slanging, banging, and whatever, but when they come and talk to an adult, it's yes or no, sir, and it's very respectable. They respect their elders because everybody does that. Right? And so it's different, like in California, you know what I'm saying? Because people are more, it's just more of a relaxed situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's also a difference, I would say, between what respect is and what character is. And so a lot of times people get it confused, but some people just they need character building. They need character building. And it's not just about the lack of respect, but it's just who that person is. And so that stems from early childhood upbringing as well. And so if you're not instilling the right character in which you want to see your child from a young age, then they're gonna grow up doing whatever they see, whether it's from you or from the streets. Like
from the streets.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the other one.
All right.
Let's see what this father did. Now this one is a little bit he went a little far, but I agree with some of his stuff.
Like towards the end, right?
Yeah, towards the end he went a little far.
All right, let me pull it up right here. All right.
Daughter went to go move with her mom permanently. She said, "Dad, I love you, but I want to go live with my mom." I'm like, "Baby, what's wrong?" She said, "Nothing. I just feel like you way too strict." I'm like, "You 8 years old. Like, it's just certain stuff you can't do." She said, "I get that, but I want to go live with my mom." I'm like, "Baby, your mom don't have the finances to take care of you, which is why you live with me." She said, "Dad, money ain't everything." I'm like, "Well, what is then?" She said, "Freedom." Say less. I let her go live with her mama. A week later, she called me. She said, "Dad, I'm hungry. Can you send me something to eat or bring me some food?" I said, "No. Have your mama do it." She said, "My mom said she don't have money to buy groceries or food." I'm like, "Oh, you mean to tell me you can't buy groceries with your freedom?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, I guess money is kind of important, ain't it?" She said, "Daddy, I understand now." I said, "No, you don't." So I FaceTimed her and propped the phone up at the dinner table and let her watch me and her siblings enjoy dinner while she sat there hungry.
I don't think he did that for real, man. There's no way he did that. I think he just did that for the Instagram, like, because that's OD. That's over the top. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna FaceTime you and you gonna watch us eat. Come on now. That's I don't believe he did all that. But I do agree with everything else. I agree with the premise, like, it's certain things that you can't do, especially as a daughter, right?
Right.
Like, because there's certain things that these little kids are doing.
Right.
Women, little girls are doing that, if they had respectable fathers, instilling into them or pouring into them, they probably wouldn't be doing that.
And you know what? It might not even be that. It might just be like he has rules at his house in which they need to follow, like just basic stuff. And she finds that too strict because she may not have no rules at her parents, at her mom's house.
My homeboy is dealing with the same exact thing. Like, and his daughter is 17 now, and she can't stand to be with her mother because there is no structure, there is no rules, it's just whatever over there. And so she'd rather be with her father with him being strict.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like, she's not 8 anymore. She's now, 16, 17, about to be a young lady, or she is a young lady. And, she'd rather be with him, than be with her mother because she sees the difference.
So do you know why? It goes back to what you said earlier, consistency. Right? From even before you were born, before you come out of the mother's womb, you are pattern seeking. We seek patterns.
True.
Okay?
True.
What that means is we are looking for a sense of reliability. We're looking for we're looking for consistency. We're looking for a safe environment. All of that speaks safe environment. Okay. I know what to expect. I know when I'm going to eat. I know what's coming next. I know what we're doing next. Like, that's all about consistency.
Right.
And we seek that even when we're still in the womb. When we first come out of the womb, like, we know that if we cry, our mom feeds us. We know that, so throughout our entire lives, that is what we are seeking. And if we do not get that, we feel unsafe.
True.
Like, and it goes all throughout adulthood. And so that little girl, that little 8-year-old, she learned in a week. in a week, 1 week. That freedom does not buy you food.
Freedom. And I think, especially at a young age, you feel like you want more freedom when you actually don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? We can't, freedom doesn't mean no rules.
Right.
Right? No boundaries. You have to have boundaries to be free.
Right.
Case in point, everybody drives, but it would be chaotic if we were just free to drive however we want to drive.
Yeah, we gotta follow the rules.
Like, you gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow the yellow line, the double yellow line, like the T crossings, the red light, green light, like drive on the right side of the road. Like, all these things are rules that we follow, and we follow them unconsciously now because we've been driving so long, and we don't think about it. But if we didn't have those rules and we were just free to drive however we want to drive, like, we would never get anywhere.
No, because it would be accidents
everywhere.
The time. Yeah,
like, I mean, there's accidents now, but most of the accidents that happen are negligence.
Yeah, people not paying attention. Yeah.
That's probably 90% of the accidents are negligence. So they're not really accidents; they're just negligence. Yeah, negligences. You know what I'm saying? So it's following rules, and especially and I learned this a while ago with boy children. Just because I had boy children, but they need rules more than anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They need the discipline. And they don't want the discipline, but they need it. Yes. And when they realize they need it, if you didn't give it to them, by the time they realize they need it, it's too late. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
And we're innately wild children. Like, we take way more risks than anybody else. Yeah. Oh, what happens if I jump off this roof?
Yeah, exactly. like we are trying to do all of these things, but the restrictions that we have on us help us. You know what I'm saying? They keep us alive. Yeah. And freedom is just a falsehood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a false god almost. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're land of the free and I can do what I want, and you know what I'm saying? This is my life, my body. No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. It's not. Your body is the temple of God. Like, this is not your life. Especially anybody who claims to be a Christ follower. Like you gave up your life, bro, when you decided to follow Christ. So all of this, I can do what I want, and this is my life and my body and all this other kind of stuff, like that's not true. Right. Right. So that little girl. Now the question goes back to, do you feel like he did the correct thing?
I don't like, so as far as like letting her go live with her mom, or eating in front of her,
I guess the real question is, like, was he preparing his child for the real world with doing that? Because he said, "Okay, bet, go ahead, say less."
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what happens next after this. After she realized, okay, yeah, no, I can't live over here like this. So does he take her back and be like, all right, did you learn your lesson? Like, this is why you're here, right, and not over there. Right. So it depends on what he did after that, Clearly, she now knows within a week, like, oh, like, if I stay with mommy, I'm not going to eat. Like, I'm going to starve to death.
That's kind of important.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure that's not the only thing that she realized when she was over there. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff that she was like, yeah, I'm not. I have zero rules over here. I have no structure. I don't get my homework done. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in a house, but
but what you're saying is the things that my friend's daughter has expressed, like those exact words. Like, she's not helping me with my homework. She's not helping me with my assignments. There's no rules. There's no like dinner time. There's no like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As you said, like, we're seekers of patterns and things of that nature. And if you don't have any rules, no patterns, and people think that they're just letting their kids, I was so restricted when I was a kid, so I want to let my kids do whatever they want. Like, that's not it.
You build no sense of security if you allow your child to just do whatever they want.
Exactly.
There's no sense of security. There's no sense of safety, and it will not end well.
It won't end well. What I'm interested to know what some of the comments are on that video. You know, but you as a therapist, what are your initial thoughts? You feel like he was justified in doing that?
Yeah, I think that it could go both ways. Here's the thing. Do you just put your foot down and say, like, look, no, I'm the father. I know what's best for you.
Right.
You're staying here.
Right.
Right? But maybe, I mean, he knows his daughter better than we do. You know, we're just
Obviously.
yeah. So maybe he knew, like, okay, I'm gonna let her have a little taste of what's over there, and then I know she'll come back. And so, sure enough, she called, right? And so, if he knew that, then yeah, I agree with what happened. Do I agree with him, like, flossing his nice meal in front of her as she over there starving?
No, we can universally agree. Like,
yeah, I don't agree with that.
That was overboard. He had to do all that. Oh, you see, we got over these mashed potatoes.
Yeah, man. Let's see some of these.
Said I put the FaceTime on there so she could see us eating, and her siblings. We was all over here eating.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. It says it was in his daughter's best interest. I'm sure, since he had custody of her, he had been caring for her for years and didn't want her to be hungry, but knew she needed to learn consequences of her choices. In other words, it likely hurt him more than it hurt her. Not remotely. Oh yeah, so yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Let's see.
Sure. I think I saw some ones on that one that were like against him doing that. He wrong for that type of comments.
Yeah, let me see. Let's look at some other comments. Some of these comments are an 8-year-old talking about some freedom. I'm willing to bet money he's an amazing father, and he was instilling in her values and morals. She's going to be begging to come back home, and she learned a valuable lesson. True. Applause to the father.
Yep. True indeed.
Man.
So everybody agree with the father. I know why he's gonna talk about him just flossing the food.
Some person was like, sounds like to me, Dad was looking for a way out. What? No. If you're willing to punish your kids over something so silly, you never cared about them in the first place. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. He probably knew Mom wasn't stable and took her in and had no choice. He waited for her to mess up so he can back out of his responsibility to her. This person.
Okay.
I'm gonna see what there's about. Yeah. Somebody said this is the dumbest comment so far.
Yeah, clearly you weren't paying attention to what was going on, and you know where that comes from. That comes from, you know, whatever's going on in their life. Something's going on in their life to where they felt like their parent didn't care about them and or, you know, wanted to escape a responsibility, because if that's what you got from that means that you got some emotional stuff to deal with, young man.
Yeah, it says, did you not hear anything he said? And then he has his other kids. He literally said he propped the phone so he can see her other siblings eating. Like, yeah, clearly this person didn't know.
No,
they didn't.
Clearly, they're dealing with some stuff from their parents, or they are a parent that had somebody skate out on them.
Oh, listen to this one. His disposition to his daughter had a valuable lesson attached, and one that the mother would have benefited from as well. Sometimes we ask or demand things that we think we want or even need, and ignore what is truly best for us. Being hard-headed, prideful, and unaccountable will cause many issues in life and leave you feeling stranded or abandoned. This father gave his daughter a solid, teachable moment that only he was going to provide to her, because the mother was never going to tell her that her dad was right and that she should listen to him. Yo, that was probably the best comment so far.
Yep, that sounds like pride comes before the fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what that sounds like. Pride comes before the fall. Yeah, I mean, the fact that she wanted freedom at 8 years old, that just goes to show that, she has some influences from who knows where. Probably the mother, but, we ain't gonna go there. About what she should or shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, that is spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah, man. So there's, man, the crazy thing about the world we live in today is that you can almost guarantee that the internet will not disappoint. They will give you something, and then the people, like the comments, sometimes I'm just here for the comments because
we all are.
Man, the people in the comments, like, they either are just like, what are you, like, just get off the internet.
Right.
Like, just don't ever comment ever again.
Right.
Or some people have some really insightful things to say.
Right.
So, yeah, like it's wild. But
I mean, because, you can really tell what people's emotional state is by their comments.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, that one guy or girl was saying, he couldn't wait to let go of his fatherly, and get rid of her and blah, blah, blah. Like, what? Like, if that's what you got from that, then that means that you have some stuff that you're dealing with or that you need to deal with, because that's not at all what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not even close.
Right.
Like not even close. And, I'm sure he probably went to go get his daughter by now. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he got her back or whatever. But
Absolutely.
Even if he didn't, he's going to get her back at some point, and she's going to, even if she got to be there for a year with the mom, she's going to remember that year.
Right.
From 8 to 9.
I'm pretty sure he didn't leave her over there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't leave her over there.
Just based off of that short interaction, I'm pretty sure he went to go get her.
Right.
And
he has custody of all his kids, so it's just like, nah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the character of that person. Like, and you can really tell a character of a person by, those small little, inroads to their life. You can kind of see, where they are and what they're doing.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that she will abide by, like, no, you can't be on the iPad for 3 hours at a time. Like, he probably has some, like, the easiest rules, and she was like, this is too strict.
This is too strict.
Yeah. Like, we gotta empty out our own trash. We got our own rooms, but we gotta clean our own rooms. Like,
but, I feel like he was preparing her for the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the real world, you can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it.
Yeah.
You have to, like I said, we can't live in this world without rules. We can't live in this world without, we all have doors on our houses. Like, if everything was free, in freedom, like in the Garden of Eden, there was no doors.
Yeah.
Right? We messed that up.
Or clothes. You
know what I'm saying? But like you said, we got clothes to cover ourselves up. Mm-hmm. We got wallets to cover our money up. You know what I'm saying? We got FaceTime what is it? Face lock.
Face ID?
Yeah, Face ID to cover everything in our phone up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got privacy screens on our phones. You feel me? We got doors and windows that lock and shut and cars that lock and shut. Like, it's not freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have to live within these certain rules. Like, it's cool. There's this guy I listen to that always brings up this analogy, but it's funny to me. Like you welcome in my house, right? Mm-hmm. At any time. But if I wake up at 2 a.m. and you in my kitchen, you know what I'm saying, just fixing yourself a sandwich.
Like bruh man from the 5th floor.
You feel me? Like, we gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my bad.
Right. Like we gonna have a problem if I come downstairs and you in there cooking a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because we follow certain rules. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's certain things that we got to do and be respectful of each other. And the quicker you learn that as a child, and the quicker you can teach your kids. I see you said something like start early with 5 concepts, like saving and progress and stuff like that. Like, expand on that a little bit. Like, what kind of things that can you teach them early when it comes to preparing them?
Even when it's like as early as elementary school, teaching them about the value of money. Because a lot of times kids today, they don't see us like exchange money per se. I mean,
Yeah.
like cash, especially cash, like they see a swipe a credit card and they don't like, they just like, oh, like my dad will buy it because he swipes his credit card and it's not even a swipe anymore. He just taps his credit card on the thing and then we get whatever we want. Like, they don't see how money is exchanged. Like, so they need to know that. I mean, I know that we're living in a world where cryptocurrency is like about to take over. So we need to explain to them the value of things, like how we obtain things, the amount of work, the amount of time and work and effort it requires for us to obtain a certain amount of money so that they can, do all the sports that they want to do. Like, man, and just like stuff like that. So teaching them about that, how we live, how much food costs. Like, we don't eat out a lot. So when we do, and I purposely do this for a couple of reasons. One, because it's too expensive. And then 2, like, I don't like what's out there. Like, I feel like I could make healthier meals.
I'm about to say, well, you're an exception because you like a gourmet chef. So that's something totally different. But go ahead.
Yeah, so if we go out, like, the kids are like, they are wowed. And I'm talking about when we go, I mean like to In-N-Out.
What you mean wild? What you mean by wild?
No, wowed. Like, they are so excited and surprised.
Okay.
So they're wowed.
Okay.
They're like,
wow, like WOW.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I thought you said wild.
No,
like,
they're wild because
they wild in the restaurant?
Because we legit don't go out to eat a lot, right. On purpose. And I tell them no a lot.
Okay.
On purpose.
Okay.
Like, I don't have to tell them no, but I purposely tell them no a lot because I need them to know and understand that they're not just going to get everything they want all the time.
Correct.
So it's just stuff like that. Like, and then going back to like the savings. So you asked me the question about the saving. So just explaining to them how all of it works, like how we get certain things, how their sports are paid for. Like, they need to know and understand. Now, I don't ever want them worrying about money or worrying about but I need them to understand that, like, hey, we have you in this, sport because you said you love this sport. And like, this is what you may want to have this sport as a career. Like, okay, so I want you to know what I'm doing over here to make sure that I can pay to do the things that you love. And then I want to make sure you are doing your part in training more than anybody else because your words say that you want to do this perhaps for a profession.
Right.
So I'm going to foster what you want and working hard and making sure that I, help you get to where you want to be. And I want you to foster what you want by putting in the work.
Right.
So, I mean, those are all life lessons that we need to teach our kids.
True. I saw this American Express commercial. I've seen it a couple times now, but they play it during the NBA stuff where it's like a black dad is like, oh yeah, teaching your kids how to save and blah, blah, blah. And like, he's paying with American Express. And then like at the end, the dad is all older and then the son pays for the meal at the end. I was like, yeah. Like, that actually happened to me twice. Both of my older kids. Like, we went out to eat and it's like, Dad, I got it. I'm like, what? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Yeah, that was probably one of those good feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, you understand the value of money now and you see, like, they know that I've always, provided for them and pay for them. And so, when they are appreciative of that and like, yo, I got it, Dad. It
Yeah.
makes them feel good as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it makes me feel good, but it makes them feel good as well. Like, okay, now I can, contribute. So, when they grow up, man, it's they learn these things that they didn't know that they learned, or they realize these things that they didn't know that they learned until they get to a certain point.
Right.
And we are the same way as far as our relationship with God. Like I said before, it's we don't know till we get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know till we get there. We may think we know, but we don't know till we get there, and we get over that mountain or get through that valley, and they be like, "Oh, that's why this didn't happen. Oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why God allowed that to happen, because I needed that to happen so that this can happen."
Right.
And we as fathers, we can foresee stuff like that, but we're still children, so we can't foresee what God already knows, because He knows way more than we do. So it's all principles are microcosms of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all the same thing. It's all the same principles. It's just in different fields. So,
Man.
yeah, man, it's very interesting stuff, man. Some good fathers out there.
Handling their business.
I applaud both of those fathers that we talked about today, because they are teaching valuable lessons. And while it hurts in the moment, to get your locks cut off,
Man.
to get your locks cut off, it hurts in the moment, or to even go to your mom's house and not eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll be all right. She ain't gonna starve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Drink some water.
Right.
Drink some water.
Drink some water. And old boy who got his locks cut off, the hair will grow back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's very interesting. So, any final thoughts?
No, just make sure we're teaching our kids at a very young age about respect, amongst many other things. And none of us are perfect fathers, but the only thing we can do is just do our best.
Facts.
Do our best.
Do our best, and as we learn, we teach.
Yep.
As we learn, we teach, because we're still learning as well. So, well, that's our show for today. Appreciate y'all checking in with your boys, and we'll holla at y'all next time. It's Fathers Handling Business. Cali.
Donté.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.